his taking the oath, and when he said that he would, uphold and protect the Constitution or whatever, I yelled out, lie.
He also said things like carnage, and carnage literally means to slay and kill very violently something. And, that's not what you want to hear at what's supposed to be a hope-filled speech. Like, this is inauguration. This is supposed to be the beginning of something new, and you're using words like carnage and ruin.
It sounded like one of his stump speeches on the campaign to me, and it was so dark, and I'm like, bruh, this ain't... if you were trying to convince people to come on over, this
wasn't it. This was not
that
it.
Was not it.
This was the worst inauguration speech I had ever heard, and he threw shade at all 6 of his predecessors.
And let's not
sitting
forget,
on the stage with him at that time.
And let's not forget John Lewis, of course, but definitely his predecessors. Yes, absolutely.
That Washington was crooked, and that its leaders were in it for themselves, and he was just going over the last 30 years.
The whole thing was essentially about himself and what he considers America, but a lot of it was him going, America has not been great at any point in time, while he's sitting here with, what I still consider the current president, Barack Obama. But he's sitting here with Barack Obama saying about how America has never been great, especially as of lately, which is shady. And that rubbed me the wrong way, because I think that in the spirit of coming in as a new president, the most important thing that you can do is at least say, in the past administration, I look forward to whatever was valuable about that administration. I look forward to continuing what was valuable. And now here's what I'm going to do from my resources, not to dump on the last administration. So that was disappointing for me, very much so.
And let's not disregard the shade he threw at Hillary Clinton by not even mentioning her. Every president mentions who they beat in the election, at least to say, thank you for being here. He didn't even say her name.
See, you guys are pointing out a lot of things that I did not notice because, as I said, I wasn't even going to watch the coverage of it. And I was a little tuned out during his inauguration speech. So thanks for pointing those things out. What is your hope? Like, I don't even think he's going to last. I don't think he's going to make it through the summer. I think he will either be impeached or forced to resign. If not
his rape trial is coming up. His rape trial is coming up, so I'm hoping that knocks him out. But I can't say I have any hope.
I don't see where he gets a mandate to lead. He's coming in office with an approval rating lower than George Bush left office with. I think he's at 32% right now.
I miss W.
I will take W at this point.
I would take W.
The memes will be
like,
lit.
it's like when you look back, you're like, wow, W, you weren't so bad.
At least you cared.
At least you cared.
You tried.
At least you held some sort of public office. At least you knew the Bill of Rights. I mean, just basic things that we learned in elementary school about government. I don't think he has that.
You just immediately saw the stark contrast.
And I'm trying and listen to the folks that are listening and you're a Trump supporter. You're like, oh, this radio station is nothing but bashing Donald Trump. And if it seems like that to you, my apologies. I just, for a man who is not interested in knowing what is going on, the briefings. Oh, I don't need the briefings every day. I don't need a 200-page document of what's going on around the world. Put it on one page. Those are his words in an interview.
This is true.
And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. What is your hope for the next 4 years under this Trump administration?
To survive. I mean, outside of that, I'm hoping that someone touches this man and explains to him what the real duties of his office assigned are. And I hope that somewhere down the line he actually does find a passion for what he's doing, because as it stands right now, it's a measuring contest. Can I beat out somebody else? Can I win something? Can I add something else to my ego and put another trophy in my closet? It's not I really feel that I can be a good president to this nation, So my hope is that he actually finds some joy in doing what he's doing and actually takes it seriously at some point. Mm-hmm. That's it.
I mean, I see his presidency as a rallying point for the Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. I think it's something we can rally against, build up consensus. And we see the party switching the same way it happened in 2010, where the president lost the midterms and then Republicans started taking back Congress. I see it kind of happening in
The
reverse.
other way, yeah.
I see it like the Democrats are going to slowly start
Well,
fighting
every 2
back.
years there's a
Every
switch, it seems like.
Well, every president loses their midterms, but I think this president's going to lose very, very bad. I think that his policies and his party, they're not a lot of things to take credit for. If they go through with the repeal of Obamacare and pretty much taking back the
Which
last
is
8 years.
backfiring, by the way.
It is. I think there's been multiple Congress members in Texas have been booed at their rallies, at their town hall meetings, because they're saying they want to repeal Obamacare, and they've got constituents currently on ACA telling them don't do it. So I think as they continue with their agenda, which pretty much is to undo the last 8 years, if it's going to really work in the Democratic Party's favor, it's pretty much just sit back, like the president said, just let them do it. Let them see how bad it is once they undo the things, and just let everything unfold and come back.
Yeah, well, it's unraveling at the seams. I don't think. I mean, I know that repeal votes in the Senate and the House went through, but in terms of it being implemented, I don't see it happening. I think the American people are going to put the fire to their heels and reverse it or something. I don't think it's going to go all the way through.
I don't want to go that far, because we also said that Donald Trump would never be president. He got up here and he made a show, and we all believe that there's no way that the American public can look at this in good faith and elect this man. And yet here we are today with this man being elected, right?
Yeah, with the help of Russia, though.
I mean, in addition to that, we also have now that he's already pulled down the energy page off of the White House website. He's also pulled down the LGBT page off of the civil rights page as well. And so, he's already starting to make these moves.
Yeah.
I'm being so
On
serious.
the new WhiteHouse.gov, none of those
I'm
pages
being
are
very serious with you. This is real. This is happening. And so I don't know what to say. I don't want to say that that this won't happen, because this is happening. It is.
I didn't know that. Wow. Wow. Listen to Access Houston. We got the round table. Samantha, oh my goodness. That just really,
Yeah.
that just really threw me right there.
And the irony is that while he was standing up here taking his oath of office, you get the guy, the preacher that comes up and he does the benediction, and he quotes Mahalia Jackson. And I'm just sitting here like, you're quoting a civil rights leader, essentially, for a president that is taking down the civil rights page from the White House duty, from the list. This is not a concern. This is not things that we consider. The things that we're considering, or our current president now is considering, is security, military, infrastructure. He claims international relations, but I don't feel confident in that. And perhaps education.
I don't know what to expect. All I've been saying to everyone is, do you, take care of you and yours and what's important, and let the chips fall where they may. What is going to be very telling for me when it comes to this Trump administration? Quietly on Tuesday, President Obama deployed 330 troops to Norway. So all of our allies in the NATO treaty who are along the border of Russia has requested troops at their borders because Vladimir Putin has been on one, and since now that his boy is in office, they are afraid that he's really going to be radical. So they asked for the troops. President Obama sent them there. They are now, in Norway and Bulgaria and, all of those countries that are along that Russian border that is a part of the NATO alliance. What is going to be very telling is when Trump is in office, well, now that he is in office, if he's going to pull those troops off of the Russian border. If he does, we are officially Russia's bitch.
I don't think he'll do it. You have to surround yourself with top advisors. I don't think his party will let him do it. There's too many Russia hawks in the Republican Party. And if he pulls those troops off the line...
Well, where were these hawks when it came out? Did you guys read the intelligence
Indeed.
report?
Absolutely.
They're going to play it down. They're going to play it down to make it seem like their president was elected legitimately. But to pull those troops off Norway, and pretty much like you said, make us look like we're Russia's bitch, it makes us look bad on the world stage. And that's really what their major concern is in that party anyways, make sure America's always the strongest there is in the nation, in the world.
And you know what? That's also Vladimir Putin's thing too. He wants to be the leader of the world.
And just like you said, it's going to make America look like Russia's bitch. And Donald Trump is an ego guy. The last thing he wants to be called is somebody's bitch. So if it's going to put that kind of image of him out there, which is already out there, but he's trying to play it down. So to do that would confirm that look, that view of him. So I don't think that he's going to do that from an ego standpoint. It's from a political standpoint. It's just bad to pull those troops off the Norway border.
I think it's already there. I really do, because of this. The dossier that Christopher Steele, the the MI6 spy, had put together, who is, from what I've learned, very reputable and known to be on his stuff and to have good information and trusting information. Okay. I think Vladimir Putin has that video of Drumpf in the hotel with the prostitutes. He's just waiting when he should release it. Because let's not forget, that is how Putin got into power in the first place. When the Soviet Union collapsed and all of those when they all became their own countries, Russia and Ukraine and all of those folks in that area that were a part of the Soviet Union.
Mm-hmm.
When Boris Yeltsin was the president of Russia, his top prosecutor was caught in compromising positions with two prostitutes in a hotel, and there was video footage of it. Now, the video footage was very grainy. Over there in Russia, they're saying, well, we don't know that that's him, Vladimir Putin, who was a higher up, because remember, he was a KGB spy at one point. You know what I'm saying? So he's all about the spy stuff. He came out and said, no, this is that prosecutor. This is him, for real, that's a part of Boris Yeltsin's administration. And so with that scandalous video, that is how Vladimir Putin got into power. Old habits die hard. I believe that he has that tape, and he's going to release it when he feels like when he's ready to. And it's going to, I don't know what it's going to do, but when I was watching his press conference earlier this week, and the way that he was talking in code. He was talking in that spy code. And I remembered from me reading the 48 Laws of Power, when you have someone, Trump is Putin's puppet, and he was handling his asset. Putin was handling his asset. He was handling Trump during that press conference. So I think Russia already grabbed us by the, you know what I'm saying, with meddling in this election. And now, since Trump loves him some Vladimir Putin, and Vladimir just wants to be number one and probably get what he wants out of Trump, and us, Americans, we are going to be the one that's going to be, that's going to have to not necessarily bow down to it, but be victims of Vladimir Putin's blackmailing of Donald J. Trump.
That sums up a lot. That answers a lot of questions. Yeah, that absolutely is something that is to be considered. And I think that we are right now kind of in the palms of Russia, which is a very dangerous place to be. As what was supposed to be the most powerful nation in the world, now we have to question, are we? Right,
because I'm like, where is the outrage on the Russia, like our number one adversary, and now...
and now suddenly we want to be.
You're quiet. Like, to me, silence is consent.
The odd thing, though, is that Putin didn't allow his nation to watch the inauguration today. It was blocked in Russia. So Russia wasn't able to watch the inauguration. And that really raised a red flag for me because, if this is the case, if this is, essentially what's happening, why are they not watching the inauguration?
Well, it's a communist country, and Vladimir Putin runs everything. That's why the
this is
country is
true.
so poor and stuff, because he's too busy putting the money that the country makes into his bank account and his friends' bank account. That's why ain't nothing over there in Russia, and they struggling so hard. You know, it's secretly. I don't know if people know this or not, but the richest man in the world is not Bill Gates
No, not
at
not
the
at all.
65 billion. No, it's Vladimir Putin at 85 billion.
Well, we haven't thought about the Rothschilds. That's a whole nother little thing. The very quiet Rothschilds, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's our Hunger Games, essentially.
So yeah, so it's really messed up. I can't believe this is the world that we live in now.
I'm starting to think, what if Trump gets bold enough to call Putin bluff? He's the president of the United States. The longer you're in that office, the more powerful you're probably going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say he's just bold enough to call Putin and just
I
not
don't think so.
I mean, you don't think
that
he'd
there's
get on
some
Twitter,
business
maybe,
Ties. There's something going on. Like there's some business ties. I mean, there's rumors that he possibly borrowed money from Vladimir Putin to help with something with one of his businesses. He had interest in building hotels in Moscow. So you know, there's some dealings. I honestly think that you know, something in the next few weeks is going to come out that's going to be pretty damning, and that's going to be totally against the Constitution with his business ties in these other foreign countries. That is going to be a huge conflict of interest that is going to violate the Constitution and his presidency, and he's going to be gone. The man still hasn't released his taxes.
Well, he actually said today that the only people who are actually concerned about his taxes are the media. To go back to our international relations conversation that we were having, I'm more concerned with Jeff Sessions and with John Kelly, what essentially are going to be his attorney general as well as his homeland security. And in terms of international relations, they're saying that we're going to be friends with everybody, we're going to be happy with everybody, we're going to get along. But America, or as he said in his speech, America is the only thing that they're concerned with. America is concerned with America. We're going to work here, we're going to live here. And I mean, I don't even know where to begin. It's ridiculous. But then at the same time, he hasn't pulled back on the Muslim registration order that he is on to right now. And the enforcer of that is going to be John Kelly, John Kelly of Homeland Security. And so those are the things that I'm kind of more so concerned with. I'm very much concerned with Russia, but the things that are happening at home right now are going to be devastating. I mean, we've heard that before. We've seen that, right?
He's got a billionaire cabinet who doesn't know anything.
Betsy DeVos today, not even today, Betsy
DeVos, God bless her. But
Betsy DeVos said that...
Go lay down, lady. Go to sleep. Go to bed.
But we're talking about Betsy DeVos, but we have Betsy DeVos, we have Rick Perry, we have Ben Carson. We have no offense, Omarosa, because I might have to ask her for a job later. No, just kidding. No offense, we have Omarosa, who's going to be over HBCUs. We have Rick Perry, who once said that he wanted to be rid of the energy department, who is going to now, who's running for the energy department.
I just want to know what was going on in that war room when they were just picking catnip picks. And how Rick Perry and Ben Carson got on the table.
I feel like he closed his eyes and he just picked names out of a hat. Cause
I mean, if you're thinking logically just on Ben Carson, okay, he's a pediatric neurosurgeon. What's the right department you think you'd put him in if you were going to put him in the department?
Maybe Surgeon General.
Health and Human Services, something that's in his
right.
But I'm going to put the black guy in charge of HUD.
HUD. Housing and Urban Development.
That sounds about right.
Because he's black?
Probably because he lived in government housing. So I'm going to put him in charge of HUD.
But then again, Ben Carson also said that he feels that the way out of poverty is not more federal subsidized programs or federal programs in general. He said that the way out of poverty is personal motivation. People need to stop depending.
Is education.
Exactly. People, but not in his opinion. In his opinion, people need to stop leaning on federal programs, which actually brings to mind when we go back to education, of course, we're getting ready to look at the removal of being able to have financial programs for college students. Four-year college students are getting ready to look at possibly not having the subsidies, not having the grants to apply and go to college. And this was as of today as well.
So everything is going to be out of pocket?
Essentially, that is the plan that Donald Trump has outlined. So what do we do now? What is the way out of poverty? If Ben Carson is saying that federal programs are not the way and Section 8 housing is not the way and education is not the way according to Donald Trump, then what is the way out of poverty?
Ben Carson is living proof that education is the way out of poverty. The man grew up in poverty. Went to school, became a doctor.
Well, he seems to have forgotten. He seems to have forgotten. He seems to have a very short memory.
This is the same doctor that said healthcare isn't right.
Well, as I said, it's going to be very telling within these next one. And another thing that we need to stay woke about, how his cabinet picks going through the confirmation process, but yet they hadn't been vetted.
He hasn't been vetted.
You know what I'm saying? Like the guy over the OGH was saying, like, he has not received all of the paperwork and documents needed to vet these folks.
Oh,
They're
great.
not-
Yeah,
And
let's
he
talk
was
about
saying,
that.
And if the Senate goes through these confirmation hearings without that, we should be very worried.
So Steve Mnuchin, who's actually running for Treasury Secretary, also was a part of Goldman Sachs. We are all familiar with the 2008 housing debacle. He said that the 100-page paperwork was too much work. He literally got on camera and said, "This is too much work," which is why he has not been vetted, which is why his paperwork is not done. And yet he continues to try to, I guess, defend himself to be Treasury Secretary.
All these folks, and they have this "I'm going to learn on the job," thing. I mean, that's a hell of a learning curve.
I mean, you can say stuff like that when they have the votes to confirm them without a single Democrat voting in favor.
That's all I can. That's all. That's
DeVos
all I can
also
say.
said that she doesn't believe that I won't misquote her. DeVos does not understand why children with disabilities need to receive equal treatment. Now, this is DeVos. This is them asking DeVos, and Bernie Sanders even asked her, "Do you believe that children with disabilities should be treated equally?" And she said, "We can talk about that later." And so we said, "Okay, yes or no question. Do you believe that children with disabilities should be treated equally? Should we continue the Children's with Disability Act?" And she said, "There's more to that discussion. If your answer is not unequivocally yes to that answer, we're doomed. There's a problem.
It is.
There's a huge problem."
So, what are you all's aspirations for the future? Political office? I see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a time when I thought I never would, and then I looked around at these people who are now representing us, and I said, if I don't, I'm not doing my job for my nation. You know?
James.
Well, I want to graduate college first. Graduate college, and we can play it by ear from there. 2018 is looking for like a great year to run if you're a Democrat, because it looks like everything's about to go to hell real quick, and we're going to need some change in 2 years. So, right now, college, we'll play it by ear after that.
I mean, if there's still financial aid, I would love to get my master's degree, but if I'm going to be paying out of pocket, we might have to wait on that.
Well, just buckle your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a wild 4 years. It's going to be wild.
Well, what's scaring me about this is that he laid out no agenda for the future. Normally, in an inaugural address, you kind of set the stage for your first 100 days. What's going to be that one thing you're going to tackle in these first 100 days, and then go from there. There was none of that.
No, well,
It was just
he told us during the campaign, like, the American people, they don't want to know everything, and I'm not going to tell them everything. I'm just going to do it.
First off, I don't think he's going to be even doing anything until Monday. I think he's going on vacation for 2 days, and he's going to come back to the White House. But I'm literally just worried, what is he going to do in these first 100 days? That's normally when a president gets something big done.
Well, you know what? We shall see, and we will come back. You guys will come back, and we will talk about it.
Indeed.
How about that?
sounds
That
good.
works.
Thank you
Can't
so
wait.
much
Thank you.
for your time, Samantha Blair, James Bennett,
Burnett.
Burnett, James Burnett.
If I come back long enough, you'll get it right.
No. I know. I'm just, my brain's fried.
Oh, trust me, I'm terrible with
You
it.
had jury duty.
My
We don't
brain is
hold it
fried.
against you.
So, yeah, we'll keep an eye out, and thank you guys for coming through.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
And thank you for listening to Access Houston. That time went by so fast.